Delta, Bauchi, and it goes all the way this way. So the Nigerian economic picture is very clear to determine. And if you superimpose this population, superimpose this on votes, the picture, the political calculus begins to change. What are the business opportunities in agriculture? To grow food, create jobs, and then this is from Akin Adesina's presentation. Large internal market, 167 million people, large labor force. But the people have to have earning power. If you use GDP per capita to compute standard of living, you're making a mistake. What you should be looking for is consumption per capita. And when you look at that, you'll find that in Borno State, the income per capita is $800, while in Abuja it's about $3,500. In Lagos, it's $2,700. So there's a big income differential across the states of this country. So expansive unutilized land, abundant water resources, and opportunity agriculture, which have been discussed in detail by the individual. But Nigeria's top agricultural products, 10. Number 1, cassava. Number 2, yams. Number 3, maize. Number 4, sorghum, fresh vegetables, rice, citrus, then groundnuts, cashew nuts, and indigenous cattle meat. So agriculture on the front burner of the present administration, sectors 41% largest contributor, but it's going to go down to 20. Massively available market for producers with a population of over 165 million. Nigeria accounts for 6% of global cocoa production. So you have Ivory Coast, Ghana, and then Nigeria. Constraints, there are social constraints, political constraints, economic constraints, but the biggest constraint is weak institutions and directionless leadership. Now, infrastructure, financing, and supply security are most common challenges cited by everybody. Top 4 challenges: infrastructure, financing, securing supplies, and all of this. But the good news is that the cashless revolution is now making payment for agricultural products almost instantaneous. The bulk of the financing costs for agriculture and most of businesses in Nigeria is that you pay only when you release your goods only when you have got cleared good money in your account. The reality is that with instant payments and POS terminals, you can pay. I can collect my cattle from you, I can collect my rice from you, and we can go into a forward market to settle transactions. Agriculture now becomes bankable, and money will go there. But the country cannot continue to live on natural wealth. It has to move strategically towards a produce wealth economy. Other factors to consider we've talked about. But more important is that an exchange rate depreciation of the currency, which is inevitable, whether we like it or not, in the near term, probably after the election, is that it makes your agricultural products more competitive. It also makes the importation of food items more expensive. But one thing is clear, is that, 1, the oil price goes down, oil revenues go down. 2, the Nigerian currency will become convertible over the next 4 to 5 years, which means that exchange control and all this nonsense will stop. And therefore, you will have a free-floating exchange rate. 3 is that Nigeria will sign what they call the WTO, which means that the World Trade Organization and which means that there will be no barriers to trade. West Africa will become one market. That has to be managed because there's levies and import duties which have to be used to protect some early stage investments. But in any case, the world is moving in that direction. The world has 3 different economies. 1, the service economy. 2, the processing economy, and then the producer economy. And that's why you saw in a few days ago that WhatsApp was bought for $19 billion, and a company that has only 47 employees, and that was founded only 5 years ago. The world is rewarding innovation and creativity, and not just production and sweat. So it's working smart rather than working hard. And finally, I would like to leave you with Farid Zakaria's words, that policymakers, when you want to evaluate any policymaker, any politician, and anybody, there are 3 ways of checking them out. First of all, you have to ask them, 1, have they stopped doing stupid things? You tick that box. So anytime you open the newspapers and you say something, you just ask, is this a stupid thing? If it is yes, then that country or that region or that state is in trouble. Second, countries have to start doing smart things. So you tick that box, is this a smart thing? And finally, after you do smart things, then you begin to do modern things. So if you wake up in the morning and hear that so has happened, that they've changed one road to one way and all that, you ask yourself, is this a stupid thing? If it's not a stupid thing, then you tick the box, maybe it's a smart thing. If it's not a smart thing, ask whether it's a modern thing. at the end of the year or the end of the month, you tick your boxes and say, okay, how many stupid things, how many smart things, how many modern things? And then you can decide almost anecdotally where people's sentiment and vote. And the reality is that if revenues could solve Nigeria's problem would have been solved before now. Because in 1998, the price of oil was $10 a barrel. And in 2 years after that, it went up to over 100. So in other words, your income increased by over 1,000%. And if the problems got worse, and you ask yourself, between 1998 and now, are you happier? And if the answer is no, then money is not the issue. The problem is that there's a management problem. Management means that resources have to be managed efficiently. And if resources are managed efficiently, the outcome is positive. People become happier, and then there'll be less proneness to instability. So you've got to ask yourself very clearly, how are we going to deal with the management issue? Political reality, if you read The Economist of this week, it says, what has gone wrong with democracy? Voter apathy. People are frustrated because democracy is a numbers game. Stability is about having an economically right. And economic rightness or correctness is about management. So I would like to leave you with this message that, remember, the problem is not the resources, the problem is not the policies, the problem is more of management and more than anything else, weak institutions. Thank you very much.
Please give all the presenters another big round of applause. I will just go straight now to introducing very quickly the discussants of these two topics you had this so far this morning. Overview of the current state of agriculture in the States and Nigeria without oil, unlocking agricultural value chains. Now we have Elder Peter Kirisa, Deputy Governor of Kwara State, who is here. He's going to be one of the discussants. And the other is Otumba Moses A. Adeyemo, Deputy Governor of Oyo State, and they will be the discussants in this particular two-tier segment. And I'm going to once again invite the chairman to please take the ball rolling.
Thank you. I want to, on behalf of everybody, once again, please let's give a round of applause to the presenters of this morning. At this point, I would like to invite the discussants to come and take their seats so that we can go into the next business of the day to discuss the presentations made by the four presenters who were very eloquent. Now, we've heard this morning, particularly regards the activities in the states on agriculture. Please have a seat. Largely talking about how in all the three states, the main concerns, the issue of rudimentary farming, no modern technology, lack of inputs, and more importantly, the lack of cooperation or buying at the state level with some of the federal government transformation agenda. That was, in both presenters, that was an issue that was raised consistently. And I'm sure the discussions here would also be able to contribute and tell us, based on what has been presented, some of their own views on this area. There was also the comments being made where the states themselves need to have policies that are consistent and that can be measured and can be able to monitor the effect of some of these policies. I think that was an area as well that was raised. So I will allow the discussants to take the first item, which is the activity of the agriculture in the 36 states. I don't know who wants to kick off. Your Excellency, over to you.